Alright guys, it's Dokkan time, and today's how to build video is going to be for some kind of older units, but for the newer players, I really want to get it in there. You know, not everybody knows how to build these guys, but we are going to discuss how to be building the full power LR AGL FRIEZA and the final form LR STR cooler. These are going to be the topic units for this video. I will try to make it as simple as possible. Now, once again, these videos are not made for veterans. These videos are made for people that don't know how to build a unit, question how they should build a unit. Maybe they saw a build and they didn't think that was right. I will give you 1 to 2 different builds that you can use. There's always 1 or 2. Sometimes some are just more straightforward than others, some are not. So let's look at Cooler first, as he is honestly the easiest to discuss and figure out exactly how to build. Now, as far as how his builds go, he greatly raises his defense and he lowers attack on his 12 key super. So immediately you should be thinking, wow, greatly raised defense? That means every time he super attacks, he's getting 50% defense on super. That's really bloody good. So initially, you should be thinking, okay, maybe I want additional. Well, let's hold that thought process. On his 18 key, he stacks his attack. Now, if we look at his passive here, he has an active entrance animation. He launches an additional attack that has a medium chance, which is only 30%. He's only got a 30% chance of becoming a super attack for 3 turns from the start of the turn, when there's another Terrifying Conqueror's ally on the team. So that means he's got technically 2 built-in additionals at the moment. So key plus 5, attack and defense 100%, plus an additional key up to 5 and attack up to 100% with each attack performed. He launches 2 additional attacks, each of which has a medium chance of becoming a super. And then after he launches his 10th attack, he launches another additional super attack. So now keep in mind here, that's 2 right here, that's 1 right here, and then you have his base. So 1, 2, 3, 4 super attacks is how many he can potentially do in a single turn, not including his hidden potential. Including his hidden potential, he could super attack 5 times. Once you hit that 10th attack in battle, he could super attack 6 bloody times in a turn. Now, keep in mind, it's almost impossible to probably launch 6 super attacks. You have to realize that the only guaranteed supers that he's launching is this one after the 10th attack, and then his initial super attack. So this 2 right here and then his intro are only 30% chance to do a super attack. But predominantly, for the most part, every time you have a unit that has built-in additionals like this all over the place, you want, and I can't stress this enough, you really, really want to focus on crit. You really want to go for a crit build. Crit is what he will benefit the most from. If he's launching 3 additional normals, each one of those critting is going to do more damage than, well, not having crit. So my suggestion for a primary build for Cooler, as of right now, would still be a full crit build. That's how he initially came out. Last year, most people built him with a full crit build. I have personally tried to have like a good even spar of 20 crit and 20 additional, and the crits just don't come out enough on that. When I increased it up above to like about a 30 crit, that's when we started cooking on damage. So that 1 additional that you could potentially get out of the additional system, it's better to go for a lower number. Now, he is starting to show a little bit of age, a very little amount. So I guess if you really want to, you could potentially go for a crit and itty bitty amount of dodge. Like a little bit of dodge would probably go a very long way with him. I mean, he's very good defensively once he gets a number of super attacks. But if you just get screwed and you only get your 12 key off once, like let's say you got him at 18 key, which is going to happen, for a while you're going to be pretty much only, I mean, we have this key plus 5 right here, and then we have this additional key plus 5 he'll eventually get up to. So that means he's going to get key plus 10 natively. It'll almost be impossible for him to not hit his 18 key. So you won't have necessarily the option to pick and choose between a 12 key or an 18 key. At that point, if he only raises his defense once from one super attack, you will get cooked. You will get destroyed in a lot of the newer base difficult content in the game. But regardless of how difficult the new content is, my still biggest recommendation is straight up crit. You can put a little bit of dodge into him if you want to make yourself feel better, but at the end of the day, he's an offensive unit, and that's how you should probably go forward with him. So, moving on to the second unit for this video. We got the full power FRIEZA. Now, this unit is one of the older worldwide download units. Both of these units are worldwide units. This unit came out with the Planet Namek Goku, and they're built very similarly. They're very similar, but at the same time, you're probably going to want to build them a lot differently. This unit used to be one of the most disgusting and good units in the game, where he would just hit so hard because he constantly raised attack. He raises his attack on his 12 key super, which is a 30% rage, which is good. But defensively, he's starting to get really, really behind. And it really just depends. You really want to think, do I want to bring him into difficult content? Or do I want to bring this unit into what he's good at? So I will give you two builds based on that. And that's the way you should build him. It's one of two ways. So he stacks attack on 12, and he stacks defense on 18. He's only got key plus 2 attack and defense 100%. He launches additional super attack within the same turn of receiving an attack. He has a 30% chance of doing an additional super in the second or third attacking slot. He gets an additional attack and defense plus 100% for 6 turns. So keep in mind, after 6 turns, he's going to get remarkably weaker. He will get a 50% attack back on the 7th turn. But yeah, he's not getting that 100% defense back. And he does perform a critical hit whenever there's a Goku on the field. So keep in mind, if you're in like a Super Battle Road and there's a Goku enemy, but then there's 3 other units, you can keep taking advantage of Goku being on the field and doing automatic crits, so long as you don't kill the Goku. So just keep that in mind for his critical performance. And then he has an active skill where he greatly raises attack and causes ultimate damage. And that's it. So he doesn't get anything from his links as far as additionals or anything, or crit or anything like that. His best super linking partner is honestly probably Final Form Cooler and the LR Golden Frieza are probably his best meta relevant choices as far as a link partner goes. So he doesn't have anything to really benefit him in any other way. What I would suggest is for him is to build him for content he's good at. And most of the content you're going to bring him into is going to be straight up Wicked Bloodline missions. You're going to be fighting Goku with him specifically. And that's how you should probably build him around. So the first build I'm going to suggest to you is to be taking advantage of the fact that he automatically crits in his passive. In which case I would suggest not putting any crit in it. And then you should just go for straight up additionals and dodge. The additionals are only going to help with his attack, obviously. So you're just going to be constantly building up more and more and more and more damage with him. You're going to see a lot of damage. This dude can still hit very hard. He hits very well. Even at this point in his life cycle, being like a 2 or 3 year old unit now. If you actually look into his hidden potential, you will notice that he already has additional built-in. So if you want to put any crit into him, you can literally have 0 crit on him. You can literally have 0 crit. My suggestion would be to just use him what he's good for, and disregard the whole idea of putting dodge and crit into him, and just go full dodge primarily. Go primarily full dodge. Put a little bit of crit into him, like, say, I don't know, like 15. And then, not even 15, actually, I take that back. Go for, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 crit. Go more focused towards additional, and then give him, like, 3 dodge. And I'd say he's built for just about anything. He doesn't need to have a crap ton of crit, but he's more taking it. You will get more bank out of him by building up his attack and then aiming to go for a crit later. Just be very mindful of the content you're bringing him into, as he's not going to survive in newer base content. So this is one of those units where I would actually suggest you kind of build all around, you know? Like, give him a little bit of everything, of both crit and additional. Focus more on additional, and then go a little bit of dodge. But if you straight up will only bring him into Wicked Bloodline events and Goku-based events, then you can totally take advantage of the fact that he performs critical hits on Goku units, and just go for straight up additional and dodge. But honestly, my primary focus on him has always been additional and then a little bit of crit. Nowadays, with how the content is going, you probably want to start putting dodge into him, as he's going to start cycling out because he's not defensively good enough. Until he easy A's. If this unit easy A's next year, then all of a sudden he's just going to ramp up out of nowhere and he'll be insane. I assume he'll get a lot more defense whenever he eventually easy A's, but this is one of those units where it's like, it's not a solid amount, you know? Like, I can't give you a solid number of, yes, you should just go for 20 or 30 additional or something like that. No. I would say be very mindful of the content you bring this Frieza into. Focus on what he's good at, and give him additional, give him crit, and then give him like 3 dodge. That would be my suggestion for Frieza. But yeah, otherwise just kind of go for a little bit of everything. He's a very funky unit, and you can, at the end of the day, build the unit however you so choose. But personally, I give him like 20 additional. I give him like 9 crit, and then I give him a little bit of dodge left over if I have the option to. So, but anyways, guys, let me know how you're going to build this full power Frieza and this LR Final Form Cooler. Just to wrap it up, once again, this LR Final Form Cooler, I would highly suggest going a full crit build, full crit, and then you can kind of put the rest into either additional and hope for that extra additional attack, or you can give him a little bit of dodge. And then for Frieza, I would primarily focus on additional, and then just use him for the content that he's good in, and give him a little bit of crit, and then give him a little bit of dodge. Very little bit of dodge. Like 3 or 6 dodge. That would be the most I would give him currently. I think once we hit another huge difficulty curve in the game's meta, it might start getting to a point where he's just a full additional and then full dodge build potentially in the future. So, but anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day and a good night.